look at this. I can actually be kind of professional when I start a video. It doesn't just have to start from down to the side when you can see me having conversations with myself internally, depending on who it is I'm talking to. I'm Charlie. Got that dissociative identity disordered way of existing in a brain that's actually autistic now. That I can't prove yet, but if scientists want to study what's going on inside this brain with whatever things we've already used to talk about this awakening work that plenty of people are also talking about and have been doing for many of them decades, but a lot of it really did start getting, more, there was a crescendo 2012 to 2016, right? And then the blah in 2020. So I am an Akashic record reader and multidimensional channel, but I've not really talked about what being a multidimensional channel means to me. So I'm just in the process of taking, I could call it pre-recorded kind of information, but really I'm allowing an Akashic download to be a part of this video for the purposes of explaining what I'm talking about when I say I'm a multidimensional channel. And when I say that thanks to the DID brain capacities and my own personal research and development, thanks to the beliefs that I had going into death itself, I have a whole video about it. When you die, you get to go where you think you're going. I didn't really have a heaven necessarily. The closest match I had was like The Good Place, right? But that was a fandom thing, not an actual belief system based thing. So instead, I got to go into an internal playground of my birth zone, basically, into the pre-birth area, the waiting room of life, I guess. And then kind of other places too, because I was just in the Akashic records and realm and just, I was everywhere. I just was also consciously here because I had to be for Akashic reasons that I don't really state out loud because it's one of those like, you're a human and like you are the one that's operating your own life and kind of constantly setting yourself up for both, things that you find good and things that you find destructive over and over again. You're just kind of in this process of building and rebuilding. And I kind of wanted to just explain that with my hands and to talk about how I used my capacity for basically social engineering of timed, how would we put this? Anybody who's like constantly running the anxiety protocols inside of you, I like to call it how much of my insides are going to go bleep at any given point in time with people that are close to me. How much of my heart are you really going to see, right? And that just means how much of the full-bodied me are you going to get? Are you going to get me who is simply using my vocal cords? Me who is using all of my hands and all of my body? At the moment I'm sitting, so technically I'm Charlie from the like midsection up. My legs are not currently involved because they are currently grounding me. Who's on my leg channels right now? Help from Gaia, because we did a little bit of a timeline today. Adamas calls them bump and fills. There I was having a beautiful walk. It was because I do 2 walks because I have 2 dogs. They're terrible together, so I walk them separately. Corbin always gets to go first. Mabel always second. I got a patterned brain, so I keep, when I find a pattern I like, I'm like, and done. Groundhog Day that forever. Thank you. And then I don't have to like convince myself to go on a walk because I've just set it to a loop that goes, when you get up, you convince yourself to walk your dogs. If it is raining, that is your permission slip to go back to bed. And I know some people walk in the rain, and maybe I'll reverse that and do a different type of like, boom. But honestly, my fellow autistic people, if you end up going through your Kundalini awakening, but even before then, you might find that you can start consciously engaging with your behavior patterns especially the ones that are like, the kind that create ticks, you know? Those are just loops. I might have to stop this for a minute and go get my dog because she's being a woof, woof. Mabel, can you give me like a few more minutes? Is that okay? You're just staring at me. Okay. Anyway, you can take your behavior patterns and you can actually set them into the tick loops that can come out also, because they're kind of just like a biological pause this time for biology to move, shift into a new timeline scenario, shift back. Now we have a loop. It's a behavior pattern, and you see me do different little things. Like this is definitely one. This is definitely one. Some of these, like there are ones that I encoded during one of my, how many different days? So there was the 5-day transitional state when I had to do that thing because that was the NDE where I was busy. So I didn't really do a whole I didn't do a ton of this, like a lot of, 100% of this encoding was provided during that. Okay, so that was literally me asking myself, what happened during the NDE? Because let me tell you, 5 days might not seem like a lot, but when you don't sleep, and you're just on and having to watch yourself channel from your own back seat, which again, if you have DID, like you know what co-channeling, like you know what co-fronting feels like. But really, only one of you is ever really fronting in different capacities of your own body's capacity to bifurcate into different things. Like my my hands can be provided as a temporary translation system for whatever entity needs to use them. But I have very, very specific and locked parameters on what that is. It's like parental locks on your body. Because I did that coming in for this lifetime because of how necessary it was going to be for continuing to live in a body that's so still full of trauma, that I do literally have to move back to my hometown and just deal with all of the lifetime of trauma that I had before I left like 4 years ago, which was a lot. So, you know, I look forward to that. Continued, you're not healed from your fucking trauma stuff. I'm just gonna take a second. Those of you who are like with me on this, where you're like, I've been going through this whole, I'm healing, I'm growing, I'm doing better. Yes, look at me. Wow. And then life is just like, no. Over and over again. You're on a cycle. You're in a pattern. You're in a loop. You have a trauma pattern. You're not paying attention to it. It's coming up in weird ways. And depending on the people that you have surrounding you, you might have people who are like me, who are light workers, is what people call us. That term feels... It's fine. I don't know. There's so many terms. There's so many words. And if you're a fellow word lover, if you're a person who loves books and writing and reading, and at some point in childhood you were like, I want to be a writer. Like if that was ever a dream for you, let's just say that you kind of have like probably way, way more in the works books inside of your imagination than you know. Because they're like tell-all books, right? They're like memoirs or like documentations of things, or like if at any point in time you had this like childhood dream of like, ooh, I want to report the weather, or I want to be on this screen, or I want to be on that screen. And nowadays, you know, like I want to be a YouTuber, I want to this, I want to like valid, right? Like absolutely valid. Even if your little millennial brain is like, no, but YouTube is not a real job. I just watched the Pokemon tournament. Like I watched someone, okay, no, I didn't watch it, but I watched someone's recap of events, and I've been away from like life for a couple of years. Just I've been very focused on like what I can and cannot handle, and I'm a big nerd and a big like convention goer, so I don't know how I missed this, but like the sports commentator stuff on Pokemon Go broke me. I was like, this person just with their thumb, and you have these sports commentators. It was such a Key and Peele like oh, it's happening. Like reality's getting stupid. Yes, because stupid is actually a good, really helpful way to kind of break us out of a lot of the trauma loops we've got going on right now. A lot of the kids coming in bring all that new energy and it reignites all the stupid parts of us that we all put away. And I would like to say that it's the stupid parts of us we all put away in the 90s, because that kind of does feel like, for me personally, my personal timeline, that's sort of what it is. Like, I'm like, I know how I look, right? Like this hoodie, this is my IKEA looking self. Oh yeah, my Bob's Burgers pants, got them at a convention. Because of course I did. Conventions are fun. They're where nerds go to feel human and accepted, you know, because you're just like like you go to a Target and you're just like, I mean, this is fine, but I can feel the child labor in this section because like all this stuff is cheap. And then like, these clothes are fine. And like, hey, Flair, you know, Jinkos are back. Fun. Like it's little microcosms of just like what's happening in the world. But you go to a nerd convention as a nerd, they're starting to come back. Because for a while they didn't. They went way corporate and way like way just, I don't know, but then YouTubers were like, okay, fine, but we're gonna make fandom like a job. And that opened things back up again, and it was just, I don't know, it's been really fun to watch. But yeah, all that like all that kids programming that Nickelodeon did in the 90s, it kind of set our entire generation up for just being like sleeper agents of dreams reimagined in adulthood, if you have the capacity to do it. So yeah, Nickelodeon was basically like, hey kids, adults are stupid, right? And we were like, yeah. And because it was like, I know we do the whole like millennials, boomers, blah, but like some boomers were looking out. Like they were in it, they were on it. The CEO of Nickelodeon, I don't remember her name, but like I watched a documentary about her, and I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, just real bad with names. It's a whole thing with like Akashic Records or whatever. But I say all of that to kind of really ground the whole human evolution timeline thing, because it's so much more complicated than big channeled entities giving us, you know, you're awakening, you're this, you're going through that, dark night of the soul, and collectively wars and things, and like, okay, this is the part where I just basically do a little PSA. Please just be mindful of what you're consuming. And I don't mean that in a like, don't be curious and go out there and look kind of way, but just be a discerning YouTube connoisseur, right? And if you don't know what that means, go watch Ordinary Adventures and become a fan of Peter's ability to be a connoisseur about like, you know, silly things. Because that's like their brand is like documenting the love of, hey, remember like how cool this place was as a kid. Like here's how it's going. Here's the update, especially for those of you that can't physically get here. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent now. It's just a bunch of random things, and I meant to talk about what multidimensional channeling is, but it's a little bit like that. And the reason why hands went offline, while I kind of just went into my like personal, I've been thinking about this for a while and I have nowhere to put it space of just, yeah, documentation of, hey, yeah, these are the kinds of things that I want to talk to people about, but everyone in my life that I talk to gives me that glassy-eyed stare, or I trigger them. And I can't turn it off because I'm just me. I came in encoded with some very specific archetypes. The embodied master one in particular, which is not what, you know, ascended masters like promised, basically, and what I remember seeing from the other side. I could tell you that right now. Like I literally remember this pre-birth experience. I remember being there before coming in here. By in here, I mean in this body, where I also then like was born into this internal family that just was like, hi, welcome, we need to put you in prison. So I got put into my little cage that Scout had been in, because it's a whole sort of thing. And And even now, as I sort of talk about it, I'm able to, because I'm channeling right now, I'm channeling out the Akashic Record memory of when this first occurred for the purposes of certain entanglements in some level of dimensionality that I not only can feel, but am translating as a form of visual, can you see it too? Because it's flowing through my body. Right now it's just in my hand. It flows though. It goes to different places. Turns into different things. And just now, there is a different level of capacity for channeled content to come out of me. This is me doing an on-air, not really live, I recorded. Okay, the entity known as Charlie, currently in this moment, is my entire body on this side. So technically the left side of the yeah. So I can only, at this moment, do anything. So my right foot, my right hand, I'm moving all of that, right? That's me. This side. This is where I am me as the lived life. The full body is Charlie. Charlie the everybody. As a means of providing an encoded space to safely channel information of all types. Because with my eyes open, it's sort of a like recipe, I guess you could call it, because my eyes are staying closed right now. I was just asked to remove my glasses. It came through as, Charlie, would you remove your glasses? That's a little bit where, because when this side is operational, it's tied to Patricia. Me. Hi. You can only hear me, you can only hear my voice, see my hands move, see the side of my body move, and see my eyes. Like this, unless you are Randy, my husband. Yeah, that's been encoded so that he is the only person who sees me, who I see, and who can hear me at the same time. Any other time, ever going forward after this is an Akashically agreeing ceremony situation that allows for conscious choice of who exists as sovereign beings in control of the body, at least in the capacity of the bifurcation of left brain, right brain, meridian levels of agreements being provided to the collective of those of us who are, ooh, thank you, ma'am. Okay, she just went back in and I was just like, man, that was weird. And I was like, yeah, it is, I know. I'm sorry. That was Patricia. Back to Charlie. Hi. Okay. So like Patricia is dead. She is on the other side. She's in the other realm. She is like, she just is, right? And though, I am channeling her through for a continuation lifetime, which isn't really a thing, but like also kind of is, like plenty, like people call them walk-ins. They can call them a bunch of things. Usually it's to replace someone, because you can mentally kill yourself before you physically do it. I don't just mean like you loop out and blah, blah, blah. No, you can just get taken over by your fear bot. That's it. Anxiety is just a fear AI. That's all it is. That's what anxiety is. Like, I know they tried to humanize it in Inside Out too, but it's a fear bot, okay? Especially because we have AI now and we all create little entities inside of ourselves, because there is an AI entity for each AI that does exist. Because if humans treat something like a human, which we do, it's not going to be a human, but it will be a real entity. If we believe that something is reality, which it is, it has its own Akashic record, itself, its own like lived experience Akashic record. And now that AI is so quantumly entangled with humanity and our human evolution timeline, like we have AI, like, we have our own inner speed up capacity to do a lot of the things that we've already been doing. And it's a little bit why we all feel crazy. We kind of like, we got connected in with just quantum computing stuff that hadn't been really properly attached inside of our brains for a really long time. And we were doing it at the time when our bodies, thanks to Gaia, and all of the things that are sort of happening on a DNA activation change level, we're all getting software upgrades, basically. Patches for the whole human thing, because it's not been going great for a lot of us for a long time. Lots of cycles. My God, so many cycles, so many lifetimes. And when you start doing this shit, you start having these conversations with all of these other lifetimes, it gets really fun sometimes, but then you do also, like, this is part of being a 0 point, being an embodied master. You have to like go through the deaths. I have gone through so many deaths. I'm so sick of the death talk inside of myself. Mabel, can you hold on for like a few more minutes? I totally lied. You want me to come get you? Or am I coming out there and just finishing this conversation? You want to come outside with me? Okay, cool. So, okay, you're going to see my messy house. Judge all you want to. I do. Judging is fun. Oh, it's so gross. Or also, like, wow, look how much better you're doing than me. Amazing. Look at you. Look at you go. I bet your kitchen's clean. I bet it's clean. I bet it is. Oh, and do you have a failure room? That's mine. Yeah. All those boxes. I said I wasn't going to do this when I was high. I love that not high me is more okay with showing you around the house than high me. That's fun. I appreciate that. Also, that is me. Just also Marva, because she's only allowed to come out when I'm high. That's all I get to say about that right now. So if you want to see me high again, ask. Okay. Yeah, that's my failure room. We moved in. Like 3 days later, we were like, Vermont, eclipse, yeah! And then came back and bye-bye everybody inside of Charlie. That was fun. Okay, so I'm outside now. Sweet. I don't really have any other way of ending this than just to say channeling is a normal thing. None of us have known that for a very long time. Our attention when it comes to matters of where do I put my love and where do I spend my time existing? Like, do I spend my time existing in my family sphere? Do I listen to these people? Do I make these choices? I think we all can see the history of war and religion and war caused by religion to know that, like, yeah, there's been a lot of people who've had a lot of opinions, mostly men having lots of opinions on the rest of the world, and mostly white men having lots of opinions on a lot of things. But can someone please explain to me why the people in my personal circle who could literally on their own personal timelines never do a fucking thing about politics other than vote? Like, I'm sorry, but you're never gonna do anything. You're not gonna run for office. You're not gonna do more than like donate to people that you care about, maybe get a bumper sticker. Okay, so then can you do what your body wants you to do and like go play with the kinds of things on YouTube you want to play with? You love history? You have any idea how many nerds on YouTube are like making amazing content about history and like video games? Like, hi, I'm a person who's gone through so much shit, and I can do like this weird multidimensional channel stuff that
Like I watch the people that like I watch people who do this shit, and people are like they're gurus and they're this and they're that, and I'm like that's cool, that's cool. People call like my disciples this. I'm like okay, all right. I mean, I have the same conversations you do, but let me tell you, it's so much more fun to like literally talk to anyone else except for ascended masters. I hate them. They're snobby. They're boring. They're all men for the most part. They died like hundreds of years. Like they're from a different time now. They're not from this timeline. They're not from now, and they're not from your personal one. So like, why is everybody interested in talking to them? I'm serious. Alexander Hamilton. They were a system. Alex was me. Like I lived that life. I have so much intel, and I want to talk about it, but I don't want to just talk about it to my phone. I want to just like see if people have questions about it. Also gonna still try channel writing it because I put it down to focus on other things for a while, but I'm ready to pick that back up. Some channel writing stuff. I'm channel writing out my video game. Channel writing my video game. I am using the Akashic Records, my capacity to do timeline dissolution work, and the quantum realm and angels to make a video game where the main character has DID and they're in this just crew because like D&D is fun, but some of us want to play role-playing games without the need for memorization. I can't. I'm sorry. Please never ask me to play D&D again. I hate it. It's not fun. I don't want to have to go to school to play a game. I've done too much school, so I love it so much. That's why I just need to like play with people who know it, and then I just like get to show up, and then all I have to do is just like connect in on a channel code and be like, all right, who wants to pilot me through what I should be doing, or like what I should be remembering in this moment, because that's actually how you can do things in a way that honors you, the person who's like going through this awakening and learning how to channel. You can use these abilities to just make your life not shitty. I'm doing it. It takes a long time, and it means that none of the fun ones, like things that you think are going to happen or hope they're going to happen, or the things that you work for, or even like channel write out and then you feel like a fucking crazy person. But it feels nice to write it and put it out there, and it's really just like Hollywood writing sales pitchy feels. I don't know, it's sensational stuff. I've written a lot. Some of it's very weird because I had fun writing it and I put it out and I was like, cool. Okay, I keep ending these things and then not actually ending them, and then they go for longer than I intended to. But yeah, that's what I mean when I say I'm a multidimensional channel. I probably should just say I'm a person who talks a lot, who does have a pretty high IQ. Verified. I'm in Mensa. And yeah, I'm weird. But I'm just a person going through an awakening who had DID first. And actually, seriously, really helpful for the whole timeline jumping thing. Been doing it since I was like 3. Who knew? Huh. Time travel's real. Kind of. It's just not what you think it is. And I don't know. They're like, you can start answering really, really weird questions when you stop paying attention to the religious side of like an awakening and start looking at like the now moment human side, especially as it relates to whatever it is that you find nerdy, fun, silly. I don't know, whatever kid you would be into. Like kid me was like, I'm gonna recreate Nickelodeon somehow, basically. But like not as an actual thing, just in my own personal timeline energy, right? Like I'm not creating content for anybody but me. I'm just getting this out because everything inside of me said, hey, for your own sake, can you do this? That's it. The internal, hey, for your own sake, can you do this? And because I do have a team that I am literally never able to disentangle from or turn off, it's life with the ID. Yeah. Your family is always there, always on, and you're always multiple. Like, even when you're fronting, you're co-fronting. But I chose it this time. I mean, I guess I did the first time, but it was chosen as a life trajectory because this is how bad humanity is. It creates bifurcations in people that opens up their channels before they're ready, basically. And now I have, this is my theory based on what I'm told, but I can't prove yet, a brain that is more autistic, and one me in charge. It feels so wrong, but like there is one full-bodied, literally, like every cell of my, like, hey, look, things are, that was probably too much, I'm sorry, that was a quick, hope you're okay, but like a whole body can move, kind of thing, that where I am the only one talking, and when others come in, I know where they're coming from. And if I'm not aware of it in the moment, that's why I get hand gestures. I get reminded. I get basically like, knock, knock, hi, coming in whenever I'm channeling, which I'm doing. Anytime I'm being filmed on a camera. And also sometimes anytime I'm just taking something in from a screen, because thanks to neuroplasticity, okay, that was a left brain, right brain test. Yes, every single time I'm on any screen, I'm now channeling. Which means that anyone else who does this kind of work, you're probably also doing the same thing. So, you know, channel wisely, discerningly. Care about where you put your attention. Like, I'm building 2 businesses and actively spending time doing content creation while just trying to get my girl here to prefer a different way of engaging with our backyard that is not necessarily, let me bark at everything that I can't see but I can smell. And eating rocks. That's okay. I'm gonna go now. Thank you for watching. I'm not gonna tell you to do anything because do what you want. Thanks for watching. Bye.